Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a great and wonderful Thursday morning. So, today I want to make a video talking about some of the decks that are pretty much getting ranked pretty low on a lot of people's tier list. And I don't know why. I think these decks are actually very, very good and kind of slept on. Some of them obviously have been proven to be very good over the past like 2 months now that we've been in the Snake Eye format and stuff. But I think moving into this next format, they're still going to be very, very good. And I want to start off with the first deck that, for some reason, is just getting like not respected whatsoever from a lot of people, and that is Sky Strikers. So it getting back all three of its engages finally does make this deck actually pretty good. I mean, the deck was actually kind of slapping with just two engages, and the reason is because if you're playing this deck, you're obviously doing a go second strategy. So as of right now, I mean, we don't have Baron or Warlord anymore. So people setting up Omni-Negate monsters is just really not happening that often. Maybe some decks can still do it, but for the most part, all these generic decks, they'll do these crazy plays and stuff. They don't really set that up anymore. You could probably set up like a Dispatter or something, but that's only for like monsters. That doesn't count spells and traps. So with Sky Strikers going second with like, I already have a deck built for this, but just to give a little rundown of it, I mean, you're playing 3 engage, 3 thrust, talents, possibly even like 3 Raigekis if you want to, double Lightning Storm, Harvey's Feather Duster. So you got so much things to do. Now, I heard the argument, oh, well, what if you play against Voiceless? You can't target other monsters. That doesn't matter because you can also play cards like Forbidden Droplet, which I don't know why you're not playing Forbidden Droplet if you're playing Sky Strikers. Being able to just activate a spell card and then chain Droplet, sending your spell card to the graveyard, and then being able to then therefore chain like the Sky Striker, I think Mobilize, and then I think that's what it's called, the one that like gets rid of a card and it's special summon one from the extra deck, and you can just get rid of your Forbidden Droplet as well. You're just putting 3 spells in the graveyard right then and there. Like, there's ways that you can activate Engage and then chain other spell cards and then put all the spell cards in the grave, and then once it gets to Engage resolving, you can add and then draw one, just because now you filled the grave up as you're doing the whole chain. So there's some cool things you can do with this deck, and so I think it's just like not being respected, and I guarantee you someone's going to prove all of these people wrong when they eventually probably top this YCS that's coming up. So yeah, I definitely think that Sky Strikers just slept on. This was actually a deck that I was really thinking about playing for the YCS because I think it's going to catch, like, seriously, I think it's going to catch a lot of people off, knowing that if they're going first and they do their turn and then they just get completely destroyed by all these spell cards and they don't have an answer. I mean, Anti-Spell is at 1 now, so you better open it if you're playing against this deck. That's all I got to say. Cashier is obviously a proven deck. I just went to regionals and I got 3rd place with it. There was also another Cashier player there that got 2nd place with it. This deck is tried and true, and I don't know why a lot of people are ranking it as like a tier 3 strat or as a rogue strat. I've seen some people do that, and I'm like, have they, like, I don't know what locals or what areas they play at, but maybe there's just no cash players there, or maybe they're just bad cash players. But this deck is probably one of the easiest decks to play, and it is insanely consistent. And like, I know people say that you can brick with it, but if you build it correctly, the chance of you bricking is not that, common, because there's so many 1-card starters in this deck. And honestly, I think this is the best shifter deck to play. I know a lot of people, for some reason, are putting Fluwonderies higher than Cashier, and I don't think that's correct. I think Cashier is slightly better than Flu, because Cashier can do something that Flu can't. Cashier can keep taking away cards from their graveyard, and it can take away some of their zones, and also it has ways of setting up. It just does extra deck plays, which extra deck plays sometimes is better. Sitting on an SP turn 1, just making an SP, making an annoying monster for your opponent to deal with. And on top of that, always having interruptions with like Fenrir and Unicorn taking away resources. And it's just, to me, it's better than just sitting on a monster that just negates their monster effects that are in attack mode and being able to normal summon things. Like, I don't think that I just think Cashier is slightly just better than that. And so I don't know why it's getting so much disrespect. This deck is tried and true, man. Like, it is really, really strong against like all these decks. If this deck was topping like pre-ban list, this current ban list, pre this, like during the whole full power Snake Eyes thing, if it was still topping then, why wouldn't it top now when they just got their extra deck monsters pretty much hit? So the next one is Unchain. A lot of people will rank this one pretty low. I understand why, because Shavar's at 1. But, you know, at the same time, this deck's very scary to play against if you didn't open, you know, like your ashes and stuff like that to stop them from fully going. It is pretty scary sitting there staring at like a Caesar with 2 negates and a Soul of Rage and possibly both the trap cards set. It is very scary to deal with that. And on top of that, the fact that they just keep floating non-stop it is very annoying as well. And you don't have your, you know, your Baron or your Borreload to omni-negate their effect to just keep, you know, floating and stuff. So this is a pretty scary deck. And I think this is also going to be slept on. I think someone else is going to take this deck to YCS, whatever, and do extremely good with it. And yeah, so I say look out for that. Another one is Chimera branded. A lot of people are ranking this one very low, and I think this is actually a very good strategy. You know, branded obviously is insane right now, but this deck is also still really good. I mean, it also uses branded fusion as well, and it does really good with setting up a good board going first, being able to rip a card out of your opponent's hand, setting up a Guardian Chimera on your opponent's turn. You can also main deck cards like the Fiendish Barrier, the Dark Barrier. You can cheat that out turn 1 against your opponent. You can cheat it out during your opponent's turn. You can also do things like the Anubis if you're fearing graveyards and stuff like that. Yeah, this deck has a lot of stuff going for it, and for some reason, a lot of people are just saying that, oh, it's poop. It's just not that good, but it's actually really good. I mean, I don't know. And also, I think that playing Book of Moon or Book of Eclipse is actually very smart in this little, well, actually, probably from this format going forward, because of the Tenpai Dragons being able to just Book of Eclipse during the battle phase, and then you can't really answer that, and they pretty much pass turn on that. This deck, you know, playing that in this deck is great because now you can still resolve your fusions, you can still resolve your monster effects if he gets targeted with the imperm and stuff like that. So, yep, I definitely think that this is a deck that's kind of being slept on a little bit. And then the last one, I don't know why this one is just getting so much disrespect. I don't know. This deck, for me, is very tough to beat. Every time I play against Salad, I have like a very, very tough time playing against this deck. Even when Gazelle was at 1, this was a very tough deck for me to play against. I don't know why that is, but for some reason when I play this deck, it seems like I have to have like every handbook known to man. Every hand trap known to man to beat this deck. And yeah, and I always see people perform very, very well with this deck. And when I hear that they lose, because they just have like a very awkward hand, and for some reason they didn't open that one card that got them to Gazelle or something like that. So but you know, maybe it's just bad luck. But I never hear, oh, I lost because my opponent was just very just played outskilled me and stuff like that. It's always, oh, I just somehow opened the one unplayable hand. So yeah, I definitely think this deck is slept on. Everyone keeps ranking it very low, and I don't think so. I think this deck is very high on the tier list, and I think that it's a very scary deck to play against. And yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more content, subscribe. Don't miss out. All right, I got to get out of here and go to the gym. I'll see you guys later. Peace.